Hi everyone, it's Jessica. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you've been having a lovely holiday season and I hope you have a wonderful new year. Today I wanted to let you know about the 2026 Scrappy Sampler. So let's get started. I'm a little late in announcing this. In past years, we started the day after Christmas. I think last year we started into January, and this year is going to be the same. We're going to be starting in January. I have designed a lot of versions of this Scrappy Sampler, and every year I try to change it up a little bit so that we're not doing the same exact thing. And this year I'm excited to have designed a quilt that uses 12-inch quilt blocks. I get requests for bigger blocks all the time. There's still a ton of people who request smaller blocks, love the 6-inch, love an 8-inch. And I have been working on multiple versions of the design, and one of the designs had 12-inch blocks for the entire quilt, and that's what I decided to go with. Now, this is a mystery quilt along. You will not see the quilts, the blocks, or anything in the quilt before we start. But this is going to be really fun to make. I am releasing a series of 16 unique quilt block patterns. Now, there are going to be 3 sizes available that you can choose to make. There's a small throw, there's a large throw, and then there's a queen king. So the large throw uses 16 blocks. That's the version I'm going to be making. If you don't want to make all 16, the smaller one uses only 9. And then if you want it bigger, the larger one uses 30 blocks. So I will have 16 unique block patterns. If you're making the smaller version, you'll just have to choose what 9 of those 16 that you like. If you're making the middle version, you'll make 1 of each, unless there's one you don't like, then you can just substitute 2 of another. And if you're making the largest version, you're going to have to make almost 2 of every block, so you'll need a total of 30. Now, if you didn't want to make duplicate blocks, you could find 12-inch blocks from other sources out there, and you can just substitute them in for the 12-inch blocks. This quilt design has a center with blocks, it has sashing and cornerstones, and then it has a series of borders. Some of the borders are just plain straight borders. There is one pieced border in it. I typically tend to do these quilt-alongs in scrappy blue and white, and this year I'm going to change that up a little bit. One version I'm going to make, which you will, as we go, you will see how this plays out, is going to be just solid light blue and a solid white. I'm just doing a 2-color. I'm gonna make 2 versions though, and my other version is going to be scrappy red, white, and blue. In 2026, the United States of America is celebrating its 250th anniversary, and I really wanted to make a quilt to commemorate that. Now, this isn't specifically United States of America themed. You'll see as we go, there's nothing that specifically pertains to America in the blocks. But for the color theme, I thought it would be nice to make a scrappy red, white, and blue version, and that will be my commemorative quilt for this year. So this quilt along is going to last 11 weeks total. For the first 8 weeks, I'll be sharing 2 block patterns a week. So that's 2 12-inch block patterns you'll get. The quilt along is going to start on a Thursday. So on every Thursday for the first 8 weeks, there'll be 2 blocks released. After we have our blocks made, in the 9th week, we'll make the sashing and the cornerstones and assemble the center. In the 10th week, we will work on the pieced border. And on the 11th week, we will finish up adding all the borders to the center that we already made. Like we did for last year, I will be sharing a full tutorial for each block here on my YouTube channel. I'm going to be sharing the tutorial in the 2-color version, but I will also show you what my red, white, and blue version looks like. And if you follow me on Instagram, Instagram is where I'm going to be making the red, white, and blue blocks. Now, just like previous years, this quilt along is free while it is happening. So during the duration of the quilt along, the block patterns, the setting, all of that will be free. You need to make sure to download those and save them, because once the quilt along is over, the pattern will be transitioned to a for purchase pattern in my Etsy shop. I recommend to set a note in your phone so that you don't miss a week, because last year I did receive a ton of requests for people saying they missed this week or they missed 2 weeks. Can I please send it to them? And I just can't do that. So while the quilt along is happening, it is free. Please take advantage of that and download the blocks, save them to your computer, save them to your iPad, whatever you use on, so that you can refer to them in the future if you're not making the quilt right away. And even if you're making the quilt right away, save them in case you want to go back to it again. I'm going to put the schedule below, and I'm also going to put a link to the blog post where I'm just typing out all this information if you want to read it again. So the link to the blog post with all the information is there. The schedule is below. We start on January 15th, so that gives you 2 weeks to gather your supplies. If you're working from scraps, then you already have everything ready. So you just pull as we go for the blocks. The information about the fabric requirements are also below. It's really hard to give fabric requirements for scrappy blocks because the amount of colors you might be using might be different from the amount of colors that I'm using. I'm giving you a general requirement so that you can cover your bases and have somewhere to start. If by chance you use less colors or more colors, you might have to add more fabric in. If you want a scrappy look, but you don't have scraps to use, I always recommend for these to start with a fat quarter bundle and then be prepared to add in basics that coordinate or to purchase more of the fat quarter bundle if you need it. I'm really excited to start this quote with you. If you have any questions, just let me know. And if not, I'll see you back here soon. Thanks for following along.